A longitudinal database is very similar to the traditional model, in that typically multiple data entry forms are defined. However, unlike the traditional model, forms can be completed repeatedly for a single record. In a longitudinal database, data entry forms are not visible until a new record is created or an existing record is opened. Forms are displayed in a grid instead of a list. This is particularly useful when monitoring the progress of data collection, and this grid illustrates the reuse of data entry forms for multiple events. The data entry forms are listed only once each, but are assigned for completion during multiple events. Clicking any of the colored buttons will open the data entry form for this record and event. In this database, the researcher is only interested in data collection. Notice that unlike in the traditional database, data entry cannot be accessed through the calendar. Record-specific events can be added, but will not display the list of data entry forms. A longitudinal plus scheduling database can perform data entry through the calendar, and an example of such a database is discussed in a separate video. Finally, before data collection begins, it is important for the researcher to carefully define the time points, events, or visits that will be used. After defining the events, you will designate which forms are completed for each event. These two steps are what define the data entry forms grid. Although REDCap databases can capture any category of data, longitudinal databases are most commonly created for clinical and research data. Regardless of the database purpose, after creating a longitudinal database, you will create your data entry forms and define the time points, events, or visits that will be used in your study. Then you will define which data entry forms are associated with each event. Take care when deciding what type of database to create. Once data collection has begun, you will not be able to change the use and purpose that are defined when a database is created.